So, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Share Your Shine. And I'm Marie Fratoni with Get Clients Everywhere. And I'm very excited today to be with a new friend that I met through the retreat space a few years ago. And her name is Katiuscia Baggio. And she lives in Italy. And you know how I feel about Italy. So we're going to have some fun, but we have a lot in common, and we've become friends for a few years now. And we share a lot of things in our business and in our retreat space and the coaching space. And I wanted to just get a conversation with her because we just share resources and share information. And I wanted to be able to feature her in this episode of Share Your Shine because she's got some good things going on and she is somebody who you want to know. So, good morning and welcome. Buongiorno, benvenuta. I hope I said
Good
it right.
morning to you, Marie. Always a pleasure to be here with you. Always a joy to get your energy, and thank you so much for the opportunity, of course.
It's my pleasure. Uh, we share a lot of resources, and I mentioned in the beginning of this that she and I met through the retreat space. We both belong to a retreat community, and she heard me speak, and she reached out to me, and we got together, and then we actually met in Florence. And had a great day and had lunch, and she brought a friend with her who's another coach, and we just developed a friendship, and every now and then we hop on Zoom and we do some things. But we have a lot of really good things, and she is one smart woman who knows what she's doing. She's really acknowledged in Italy as one of the top coaches. She's an ICF coach, and and she also leads retreats in Italy. So that's another thing that we love to do. So, Katiuscia, as we start talking, let everybody know about your business, what you do, what the name of your business, your website, and how you specialize working with people.
Well, I've been a coach for executives, so to say, since 2007. And I build all the skills I have, all my career in a place which is called Chimba. It's a consortium of 36 American universities located here in Italy. It's a business and also leadership school. So my expertise is mainly, around teaching and training and coaching entrepreneurs, executives, people that work in a company that need to learn, of course, how to work in team, how to be, a good team leader, so to say. And then, I stayed in Chimba. I worked with Chimba for like 19 years with the role of executive education director. And this gave me the opportunity to travel and teach not only in Italy, but also in other places all around the world. And, year after year, I was building my skills. I was very happy to work with the people was with. I was very happy with my bosses as well. But inside me, I started to feel a voice that was becoming greater and greater, say, okay, now it's your time, so to say. And I was asking myself, my time to do what, because I felt the need to go out of my comfort zone, to be an entrepreneur as well, to be a freelance, but I didn't know exactly what was my goal, my focus. Then, I started to have a dream to build an online school. An online school with self-paced courses. So then I didn't have the need to teach again and again the same stuff, and I, enjoy the idea that I was going to build something that was also scalable. So in 2019, long story short, I embraced the idea to quit my job and to be a freelance. No, not an easy choice, but I did it. And, I started to be a freelance coach, mainly again for executives. I built my online academy. I learned from zero, from scratch, how to build and publish and promote your online course. And then, COVID came in because I started my experience, my new chapter, so to say, in 2019, 2020. COVID came. It helps for sure with the idea that people started to conceive and embrace more and more the idea to study online. So it was for me the perfect time, so to say, to build my online academy. In 2020, I also self-published my book, Improvise and Succeed, with Amazon. And then, year after year, I was an executive coach doing what I was doing, enjoying what I was doing, but I felt the need again to be in presence with people because, as you know very well, doing online stuff is cool, but you miss the energy of people, okay?
Yes.
You have it in somehow. So I started to organize a small retreat here in Asolo in person again, short sessions, like, a day, half a day, where I started to bring executive CEO in nature because I live in Asolo, which is a fantastic, small and famous all around city. Okay. So sorry, I thought you did this. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
no, but
sorry.
I
Okay.
wanted to ask you a couple of questions in there for two things. One is you live in Asolo, which I understand is in the Veneto area of Italy, and it's maybe an hour and a half from Venice.
Yes,
What's
exactly.
beautiful about Asolo where you have your retreats? Tell us a little bit about that.
It's beautiful for nature, uh, history, art, and beauty. Okay. In fact, Asolo is called the city of 100 horizons, la città dei 100 orizzonti. Why this name? Because even if it's very small, no matter where you walk, no matter where you go, your view is very likely different all the time. So the scenery is like from a 360-degree standpoint. You can see Monte Grappa, Monte Tomba, all the flat area, that we have also here. So the beauty is like astonishing. And then I love it because every time I bring people here for a coaching session, we do coaching now while walking, okay? Because walking is also helping people to, fully detach from the environment, get more insights. And it's amazing the feedback I got. They enjoy not only to be in motion, but they enjoy the place where they are. We are like 200 meters above the sea. So it's not so high in reality. But people, when they are here, they really have the feeling to enter into another dimension,
I
okay?
need to
And you
hire you. We can walk and coach. I need the walking, I need the coaching, it's like that'd be good.
whenever you want, I'm here, okay?
We're gonna do that, I know for sure. It's tell me the name of your website so everybody can hear and we can post that for you.
Katiusciabaggio.com. It's my major website where you can read a little bit my story, what I do, etc., etc. And then I have my online academy, which is Improvise and Succeed. I picked the same name of my book for my academy as well to build, a
The
so-called
brand.
ecosystem, actually.
I like that. Rather than a brand, an ecosystem. I like that. It's very, very good. So I know that, we share some things. And Katusha and I, we've talked about getting together and actually doing an event together in Italy. And I think that's in our future. We haven't created it yet, but I see it coming. That'd be so fun.
I mean,
And, so stay tuned, everybody. Um, but what I wanted to ask you is I know that you've got a retreat. We talk about retreats a lot, what works and what doesn't and who it's for. And so I wanted to give her an opportunity to share a little bit about her upcoming retreat that she's got coming up in June. Tell us the name of the retreat and who it's for.
the name of that we picked, I say we because I'm co-leading this retreat with Elsa Zeng, which is the great coach you said you met with me in Florence, and also Tracy O'Leary. And we decided to use the name The Conscious Pause because it's a retreat for professional women that reach a certain point in their career where they say, okay, I'm an achiever. I reach what I reach. I'm here. Now what? So they might not feel the need to pause, but the retreat is intentionally built to help people pause, reflect, reconnect with their values, what's really essential with them, and possibly also get some insight about what could be their next chapter. Without having the expectation to leave, to walk away from the retreat with a clear plan. This is what I will do. It might happen, but it might also not, because the important thing is for them to pause and see what is going to emerge without having expectations, without having attachment to the outcome, which is typically what's happened, when you work, when you are an executive and an entrepreneur. So the major scope is creating space with the help of nature, beauty, art, and history, and good food also.
Always. You can't have a bad meal in Italy. You know, I love that though. A conscious pause. I think many of us in the world today, given the climate, given what's happening in the world, over the past few years, there seems to be a lot of people who are just kind of, sitting, thinking, being with, not knowing where to go, not knowing how to move, But this particular retreat is for women only, but you also work with men in your coaching practice, yes? But this retreat is
Yes,
for
absolutely.
women.
Actually, usually I work with men. I coach more men, than women, so to say. And also when they, companies hire me to go to train in their company, typically, my classroom, if I'm lucky, I have one or two women. All the other people are men because I work with small groups. Okay,
And
but
you
in
work with
this
executives, and most executives are men.
exactly,
We're going to
still,
change that.
yes, absolutely.
So, women should be leading the world. That's what I always say, you know. But let me ask you this. If people wanted to come to your retreat, how would they, like, what would they be feeling or experiencing that would say, I want to take that conscious pause and I want to, like, see what opens up for me in there? What are they dealing with now that is uncomfortable, maybe confusing or
Mhm.
frustrating? Can you say a little bit about that?
Well, I would say the key point I have in mind, even though I am aware that this is not comprehensive 100%, but the key point is a feeling that everything is okay, almost okay, but it's not so exciting.
Yeah. You know what I call that? Flatlining.
Mm.
It's like when people there's nothing happening here, there's nothing happening here, but it's just like steady, okay, you know? I
Right.
like that.
And,
So
and
you want
as
people
you
that
know,
want to
where
create some excitement in their life, yes?
yeah, and as you know, where that kind of flat line you just indicated is risky, right? Because it's not the pain point you have is not so strong that is making you to move, but is it can be also weak in somehow. So it's a feeling of it's a nudge that something is not going so well, but it's not strong enough. So what's happening? You keep going with your routine, with your framework, but when you reach the point where your pain point is too high, maybe it is too high.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Now, I know this is coming up in June. And what are the dates for it in June?
From June 24 to June 27. So we start the retreat on a Wednesday. We are going to end it on a Saturday.
Okay, very good. And it's in Asolo, Italy, which is again near Venice. So if someone, are you working with people that are mostly from Italy, or do you want to attract people that might want to go to Italy and experience Italy and then spend 3 days with you and your team?
Yeah, well, I'm happy, Marie, to work with everybody that needs this, So the important point is that all the retreat, all the activities are going to be in English. So even if we have people from Italy, of course, they are aware that the language we use is English. I'm happy, and I love to work with international people. So my dream is to create a hub here in Asolo where we bring now only women, but in the future will be open to men as well. We bring international people coming here to have a reset, so to say, plus a hint, a help, a support in start to create what could be their next chapter. Okay. And this is really exciting for me because it gives me the opportunity to share with the world the beauty and the powerful energy that we do have here in Asolo. To give you an example, I'm not originally from here. I'm originally from the Veneto region, Italian 100%, but I'm not from Asolo. I came to Asolo years ago to work for Chimba, and then I never left.
Ah,
Even I said sometimes, okay, it's too small. I need a bigger city, etc. But for one reason or the other one, the energy of Asolo kept me here. So I want to share with other people the power of this place. Even though, now the situation internationally speaking is not really supporting, so to say, to plan, travels and all of this stuff. So I'm also aiming to have expatriates that already lives in Italy or at least Europe, so the trip they have to make is not so long.
Yeah, it's really great. I remember when we first met, you were telling me about Asolo and you invited me to come and do a retreat there, and you've been very steady about that. And so one of these days I'm going to come there and I'm going to walk Asolo with you. That's going to be fun.
You have to,
Yeah.
you
We'll
have to, and I
share a little
still.
vino, little pizza.
Absolutely. And I still remember the phrase you told me, right? You are a great Asolo promoter.
And Asolo is where they make Prosecco too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We are very close to the so-called Prosecco land, which is, Valdobbiadene, Conegliano, but also Asolo, and so it's like an extended area, so to say. So it's beautiful also because of that.
I think it's really funny. I'll share with the listeners that after I spoke with Katiuscia and got to know her and learned a little bit about Asolo, I went to I went shopping at Costco. And when I walked into Costco, there was all these cases of Prosecco, like as I walked in, and the name of the Prosecco was called Asolo. These big blue boxes or whatever. I should have taken I can't remember if I took a photo of it. I can't remember. I should have taken a photo. But I just thought it was so funny. I thought, well, there's a sign, it's in my future. There it is. I'm seeing it, you know.
Mm.
So, we know that, as retreat leaders, people come for the vacation, they come for the trip. They often don't even come. Well, I would say that for my audience because they're going to Italy. I don't think I've ever had anybody that is from Italy or lives in Italy come to my retreats because they get to be in retreats all the time. That's how it occurs to me. But when
Yeah.
people come to the retreats, you know, for my people, they're looking for a great vacation. We often provide the things that have things open up for them, but there's so many wonderful things to see. Will you, in your retreat, will you have any kind of excursion or any part of it, or is it pretty much every day you're going to be in conversations and exercises in your experience?
Well, let's say the major focus is having, coaching conversations and then also use the nature we have here all around to elicitate thoughts and insights. So it will be a mix between walking and group, reflection. But we do have a trip plan also to visit the beautiful city close in the area, which is Bassano del Grappa. And, when we will be there, yes, we will walk, we will reflect, but we will also enjoy about what's the historical center, the art and the beauty that is also there. And then we are planning to spend great amount of time in the Asolo center also, which is a place, yes, you can have peace, but there are also bar, restaurants, all buildings, people walking all the time. So it would be a good mix between space for reflection and coaching conversation, and also immersing yourself in what is the surrounding, because it's by immersing yourself in what's around you that we can get the help also from the art, beauty, and nature to elicitate, the thought process that we need to help people to get unstuck and get new insights and vision for what could be their new version of themselves that they are not yet, or they are not as much as they would like to.
Yeah. I mean, we know that when you change your environment, and you get out of your office and you get out of Zoom and you get out of, the regular everyday things, doing your laundry, cooking your meals, there's something that opens up that space. And if you're led by people that are professional leaders who can help guide what's happening in the retreat, it's a wonderful thing that happens. So when people leave the retreat on Saturday, they say goodbye, they say grazie mille. Well, how do they leave? What's expected? What's the intended outcome for people? Do they have a new chapter that's created, or the beginnings of one, or do you have a particular outcome that you're working towards?
I would say, Maria, particular outcome, no, because everybody has a different story. Everybody will pick what they need. So the major goal is that they will have the opportunity to, slow down, to pause, to consciously pause and see what's going on inside them, to get also the input from the other women and possibly from them inspiration as well. So the way I would be happy, that people will leave from their retreat will be saying, okay, now I feel more in peace. I feel more aligned with my values. I'm more aware that the values I had 5 years ago are still in place, or no, I'm aware that I have a new value now that I need to embrace more and more in my life because those values are going to create my future self. Those values are going to help me to reach the goals I want to achieve. And so, because of that, I will do ABC, or I will build these new habits in my life. Then, after the physical retreat in Asolo, there will be also a coaching session online as a follow up, 4 weeks
Beautiful.
later, to assist people. To explore what's going on after the experience, and possibly implement in their life also some new habits that are key to build what they want. It might have a new job, it might be, sorry, a new job, but maybe also not. Maybe that people don't need to make a revolution in their life. They just need to adjust, make some tweaks here and there, to feel more alive.
Yeah, I know what it's like to take that pause. I had to do that yesterday because I was just like, I was in high mode and I got very stressed. And at some point, I had to turn off my computer. I had to turn off my phone. I turned off everything and I just sat outside and just did some deep breathing because there's a lot happening in the world and there's a lot happening in my world, I mean, in the middle of launches. So it's very important to, take that pause. Again, if people want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to reach you? Do you want to share your email address or do you want to just have them direct to your website?
Yeah, absolutely. They can send me an email to info@katiusciabaggio.com. They can reach me on Facebook as well, also LinkedIn, and these are the two major social media I use. And yeah, I'd be happy to give more details and just to help people explore if this retreat could be the right experience for them. Because as you know, it's not just about feeling a retreat, right? It's about having the right people on as well. That's key. So
Yeah.
it's not about, promotion and selling is good, but it's mainly about making sure that people needs are aligned with what we want to offer. So I'm always happy to have conversations with people from all around the world, independently from what is the outcome, because as you told me many times, and I love it, it's about building relationships.
Relationships are the key to everything, and when they work, they're wonderful. And when they don't work, it's not so much fun. It's a lot of work, you know?
You
So
know
I'm all
when.
for ease and grace and good relationships. So I'm glad we have a good relationship. We have fun things to come. I just really want to thank you today for being with us on this episode of Share Your Shine. Um, Again, this is Marie Fratoni with Get Clients Everywhere. Get Clients Everywhere is a company that provides coaching, training, and mentorship for women in business. And I love working with women who want to build a business, who want to get new clients, make more money, have more fun, and make a great impact in the world. And I'm connected to some of the best people, including Katiuscia here. And we're going to get this out to her so that she can use the Share Your Shine interviews for marketing. She can put it on her website. These are something that I've been doing for clients, colleagues, people that were part of my community for a number of years. And it's always fun to have great conversations with great people. So thanks everybody for listening, and thanks everybody for watching. And you can reach out to both of us. We're happy to be of assistance to you for whatever it is that you need. And go out there and make it a beautiful day.
Bye bye.